Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Elite Sports Debate podcast. And today we are having a bit of a special. The Premier League is rapidly coming round, which is nice because I hate the off-season. I hate it. I don't know about you. What do you think, Jess? I don't need the break. I've said this before. I don't need a break. I love football. I want it in my veins daily. I don't want any time off.
Do you know what? It's always a hard one when there's no international kind of thing going on. So it literally has been a big kind of shutdown from everything because there was no international kind of big event, whether it was that. So then everyone's attention, don't know about yours, my full attention got transferred over to the Ashes, which was really good and I massively enjoyed it. However, the drama that football brings on a daily basis and the news in which it generates is, it's there, isn't it? It's there. Mm-hmm. So I'm ready for it to start again. I don't know about you, how you feel, but I really do think that the transfer window going on past the start of the season does affect the quality.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it.
No. And as a team, and I heard Jurgen Klopp moaning about it the other week, saying that how the fact that it goes on because you could go into the season with a plan. For example, Tottenham is a really good example.
Yeah.
They're going into the season currently with Harry Kane up top. If they could be 2 games in, Harry Kane doesn't play for them anymore, well then their kind of season fortune changes completely. Whereas West Ham have had 5 weeks to plan Declan Rice's exit. So they've known that they've had 105 million to spend in order to strengthen up the defensive midfielder area for the whole season. So it's such an advantage. But yeah. So today's episode, we're going to go through a little bit of a preview. We're going to do I think it's going to mainly contain us going through our 1 to 20 on the layout of how the season is, and incorporated in that, I think we're going to obviously evaluate each team as we go through it, really. So I think that's what we're going to kind of try to do. Johnny's going to really try and not spend half of the time talking about Brighton when we do get round to them.
To be fair, so I've done pretty well so far on the Elite Sport Debate podcast. I haven't banged on about Brighton that much. I mean, I did have a whole.
There's not been any. There's not been any stuff to bang on about them for. Yeah, what do you do? Talk about pre-season?
I know. I did do a whole pod on another channel about Brighton a couple of days ago, which I'll promote soon. But anyway, I digress. So I've got that out of my system.
Yeah, perfect. So we're going to start off with the format that we're going to do is we're going to kind of, so I don't know if anyone's aware. So this year it is top 5. So the myth about top 4 is now turned into top 5. So the can has been kicked down the road, and so for Champions League entrance. So therefore, we'll be discussing our champions, then we'll be discussing top 5, then we'll be discussing Europe entries. So in the next 6, 7, and 8, then the mid runners, the relegation avoiders, and then the relegation zone. So that's how we're going to go. We haven't told each other our team at the moment. No. I think we are quite close in our opinions about stuff. I think I can. We'll see. But we will see. We will see. So, should we start off with City?
Yes. Just really quickly, I'm just reading about this 5-team thing in the Champions League. Sorry to digress. I think it's from 2004 to 2005 onwards. So I think it's next year is normal top 4, and then it says the expanded format will come into effect for the 24-25 season.
I mean, that's.
So I think. Well, look, we'll go through every one of our positions anyway, 1 to 20s, but I think it's top 4 next season and then top 5 from the year after.
Is it not So if we're saying the expanded version of the Champions League,
the expanded
is
format will come into effect for the 24-25 season, but UEFA has taken steps to advise teams on the new qualification rules in advance. From 2024 onwards, each league will be able to send a maximum of 5 teams. So maybe it is. Right, so the
so it is.
24-25
It is.
Champions League.
Yeah, it is. It
Right,
definitely
okay.
is. I heard
It's
them
just
talking
amazing
about it on.
because I haven't really heard much about this. People are so like programmed into talking about top 4 that it's going to take a bit of adjusting to talk about top 5. So
I remember when
kind of snuck under the radar. This really.
I remember when it was top 3. So
Yeah.
it's the same. It's the same situation. But I think it really works for our league, but it's gonna dilute the quality of the Champions League greatly, because I don't think I can't naturally think of the 5th Italian team to get in, or the 5th German team, because they have very strong top 3 teams in Spain, Germany, and Italy, and France. I mean, friggin' hell, that Farmers League getting all them entries. Yeah. Anyway.
No, yeah, I just wanted to check it, but because it's snuck under the radar. But yeah, spot on.
And then you're definitely going to kick the can down the road, so that then the Europa League gets worse, and then the Europa Conference League gets even worse. So, but anyway, it's UEFA making more money for themselves. So we're going to start off 1 to 20, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to? Oh, so we're starting off with City, yeah.
Oh,
I'm assuming you've gone City.
I'm assuming you have as well.
I have, yeah. Funny that.
Yeah, funny. I'm going to assume another thing as well, that you have gone based on odds.
That's interesting. I'm sure I won't have gone odds the whole way through. I haven't gone odds the whole way through, but I think it's still my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Okay. I can look at the odds and disagree with them. So the odds is a guidance. The odds is a guidance. But if Liverpool are 9 and Man United are 12.5, if my opinion was that Man U were going to finish above them, then I would go for it. It's not. That's not my opinion. But do you know what I mean? So it's a guideline. It's a guideline. Okay. But I mean, look, what are the chances that you're going to nail bang, 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 top 4 in the same order? You know, yes, they're odds and yes, they're a guideline, but they're not facts.
Yeah, okay. I've definitely not gone odds, but yeah, no. So what? Just out of interest, what are the odds for Man City to win the league?
1.87.
So what's that? 4 to 6?
That's like 4 to 5, pretty much after commission. 4 to 5. So 50 wins you 40. So 50 wins you 90.
Okay, I think that's actually really good value.
So do I.
You.
Yeah, so do I.
I think.
What is it for the last? I mean, how many have they won in the last?
3. No team has ever done 4.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
So
interesting.
I do think that we're looking at. This is honestly, I'm being deadly serious now. I think Man City are in transition.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
But I don't think they're in transition with their key players. And what I mean by that is when we saw kind of Arsenal in transition, like this is going back way back when, they lost Vieira, Henry, like all within quick succession. Whereas what Man City are doing is they've kept hold of the main people, so De Bruyne, Diaz, Ederson, Haaland, and then all the players around them seem to be changing. So, I just think that they are just so strong in every position.
Yeah,
and their backup for that position would arguably get in top 4. So
yeah.
The
depth isn't quite as good as last year. Do I think that's going to make a difference and then not with the league? No. I think, like you say, their key players, their first 11 is still as strong. But it definitely feels like they've sold more than they've bought.
Yeah, I mean, Guardiola's cost £90 million.
Guardiola's cost a lot of money, and that's a big improvement. Like, it's an improvement to their starting 11. But their depth,
Is it?
Morris.
Just a question. Is it?
I think it's a slight improvement to the starting
Who
11. Yeah, he does
who
seem to be the real deal.
who does he get in over?
Akanji's been very good, but you'd have Guardiola, I think, from what I've seen.
Akanji made them win the treble.
Not on his own.
No.
Single-handedly, Akanji gets to lift the trophy first.
No, you know what I mean.
I know. He's been brilliant. Akanji's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. Is he overachieving? Maybe. I think he's a good player. They signed.
Do you think that they needed him?
Do I think that they needed him? I think they needed him after the Cancelo debacle.
Which is still rumbling on, by the way.
Yeah. He's such a good player as well.
Who is he? Where is he?
Barcelona's the link, but it's just a question of whether they can afford him or not. But he's a hell of a player. I mean, I don't know. Pep's so weird like that, isn't he? So weird. When he goes off a player, that's your lot.
He could come and cut my grass if he wants to. Like, if he's got nothing to do.
He'll go somewhere, mate. Obviously, he went Bayern on loan, but they didn't activate, did they?
Which is a worry. If I was a big club and that happened, I'd be thinking that'd be alarm bells for me.
Yeah. And they brought in Kovacic. Does he improve their first 11?
I think he's a great player. I think he is a great player.
I do like him, but
I think he's a really good player.
I think they're very similar to last year. Similar to last year is good enough because they won the treble, right? So I just don't think they've improved. I think their depth isn't quite as good, but I don't think it matters because they've got Haaland and they've got De Bruyne and they've got Foden and they've got Rodri and they've got Diaz. They've still got amazing options.
There's going to be more of a push. By the way, my top teams, I don't think there's going to be as big of a gap between 1 and 4 like there was last year.
Yeah,
there was a big like Arsenal and City kind of ran away with it.
Yeah,
I feel like the top 4 is going to be a hell of a lot closer this year. But still, right. I think Man City are just so far and above the best team.
Yeah, I agree.
And
they're the best team in the world. Anyone that says they're not the best team in the world are a bit silly, in my opinion. I've always talked about this before. When people say the best team in Europe, makes me die.
Yeah,
just makes me laugh. It's not. I mean, tell me a team outside of Europe that's better than Man City. Good luck. Boca Juniors. Do you know what I mean? Tell me a team outside of Europe that's better than Man City. Man City are the best team in the world. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So, look, and they might not win the treble this year. Of course not. There was an amazing achievement last year, but they're the best team in the world. They are the favourites for the Champions League, and they will probably be the favourites for the Champions League for the next 4 or 5 years, maybe. I don't know. Real Madrid are right up there. Obviously, they're improving. Bellingham, if they sign Mbappe, etc. But Man City are at the moment the best team in the world for sure.
Yeah.
Second,
Hugo.
I think the second best team in the league is Arsenal.
Okay.
I think the Community Shield showed us that. I think. I still think City win the league, but I think Arsenal have improved. I think they've had a good window. Declan Rice, good signing. They've made Timbers a great signing, very versatile. I think Havertz, I don't particularly rate him, but they have improved in the summer window, and I don't necessarily think they'll give City as much of a push as they did last year, maybe, but I think they're the second best team in the league.
Okay, so I've got them in third, and like
the Liverpool cap is on. No Liverpool second. Wow.
Manchester United. United. Yeah.
Wow. I like it.
So my reasoning behind it is that, and by the way, bit of breaking news. I think this, I can say this now, and the news will come out anyway. So that can help me with his name.
Højlund.
Help me with his name. Højlund. He's got a stress fracture in his back.
That's not great.
MRI.
He's not going in our fantasy football teams then.
No, MRI in his back showed a stress reaction, which basically means that it's a pre-stress fracture. So it kind of shows. So that's basically, and basically as well, that means that you have got to watch what you're doing with him. We would most certainly reduce load with those kind of players. So by the time you get ready to edit this and send it out, it'll be all over the news.
He'll be back fit, yeah. He'll be back fit
probably,
playing.
Probably. So, but yeah, I think that ultimately what I'm saying is, I think that they've recruited really well. I think that the goalkeeper is an upgrade in regards to it. I think the support that has been shown towards Ten Hag has been really good. I think Ten Hag can sit there and say, "Yep, really happy with that support. Thank you very much." And he gets a lot of backing. Then kind of comes in. The news around the club as well is that the 21s and the 18s have got to kind of play in a similar mould to how the first team are playing. And the second thing is Mason Greenwood's back.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Interesting to see how much he uses him.
Look, he is miles behind with regards to fitness. Miles behind.
He's a talent.
And he's basically not been in part of a team for nearly 2 years. I think it is the next kind of the plan would be to integrate him back in. I don't know if you saw, but Adidas, they signed a new contract with Adidas. And surely that would not have been signed if Adidas weren't happy that they were bringing Mason Greenwood back.
Yeah.
Surely that wouldn't have happened. And I just think that Mason Greenwood is the best young player in the country.
He's a big talent.
I think everyone was talking about him being way better than Foden, way better than Bellingham, all of this. He was doing it for Man United. It was week in, week out doing it for Man United. So, and I think bringing him back in could really advance things. So that's why I've done Man United there. Everything that you said about Arsenal is true. I just don't think they've got a goal scorer.
Jesus doesn't help. And Havertz as a false nine was wasteful as being generous in the Community Shield.
So I think that everything else is perfect, but if they had a number 9, do you know what? Do you know who would be perfect for them? Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, so, that's true. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do go in one more time because of the Jesus injury and spend some more cash because they're spending a lot. But
how are they avoiding FFP, by the way?
I don't know. They are spending a lot.
They're spending so much, and they haven't had Champions League for so long.
Yeah.
So don't really know.
Okay, third. I think the third best team of the league. I hear you about United, but I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool will improve on last year. It is a bit of a transition, I know, but it wasn't that long ago where you won the league pretty decisively, and I still think there's a lot of good talent there. There's so much good talent there, and there's depth. I've been super impressed with Diaz. Every time I watch him, I think he's top drawer. Jota, when he signed him, I was like, that's a bit weird. He's class. He's a really good player. Darwin's banging them in pre-season. Gakpo looks good. He plays, McAllister's a good signing. Yes, there's a bit of a transition to midfield. It does look like you're going to add another one, though. Either probably Lavia or Caicedo, because I know that you bid for Caicedo. Or both, maybe 2 more. I don't know, but I know there's a transition to midfield. But Van Dijk's still world class. Trent is a freak going forward, and Alisson's still a very good goalkeeper. So there's a lot of talent there. A lot of
Yeah.
talent, and I think it's Liverpool quite easy to knock. It's quite easy to go, oh, Liverpool this, Liverpool that. There's a hell of a lot of talent there, and like I said, it wasn't that long ago that they were winning the league. So, and I don't really think they've lost anyone off the top of my head that would concern me. Losing Jordan Henderson, I don't think is personally is a massive concern. I think Fabinho was poor last year, so like I said, I don't think you've lost anyone where I go, oh, you're going to miss him.
Can I just
Milner.
interject? Can I just interject with, we have lost Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita. Okay,
They're all fringe. They're all bench players.
they're all fringe players, yeah. But realistically, they are. We had a midfield crisis last year, and we've lost 5 midfielders and replaced them with 2.
Yeah.
We do not have a. Did I add Fabinho in there?
Yeah.
Naby Keita, yeah. We do not have a defensive midfielder currently in the team.
Yeah.
There is not one.
Yeah.
And we are going into the season with one right back, with Trent, who is not a right back.
He's not really right back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have a defensive midfielder. We don't have a all of those players that you spoke about: Salah, Gakpo.
It's all attacking. Yeah.
Jota, Nunez, Diaz. Those 5 players are some of the best 5 attacking players that we've ever had at Liverpool. And then defensively, if Canate can stay fit, Van Dijk can kind of get his form back, and Alisson, okay, they're brilliant. Robbo is good, but he's been asked to play in like this kind of
a bit of a different role,
inverted kind of left
centre back
kind of thing, which I don't think is his best position. And that's it. And we've got Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott in. Like I just think that it just feels weird. Like I really feel weird going into the start of the season. I feel like we're going to score loads of goals, but we're going to concede loads of goals.
Yeah.
And like if we're moving Trent to midfield, well, who's going to play at right back?
You could do with a decent right back and a decent defensive midfielder by the sound of it.
Yeah. And like
I know you're in for a defensive mid, obviously, but I haven't heard any whispers about right backs.
There's no word about a right back, okay? And like Lavia, is Lavia the answer at defensive midfield?
He's a risk, mate. He's a risk. I know he's young. But he did well for Southampton. He looked good. It's still a risk. There's players that people have signed before that have done well and looked good and done nothing. So I don't know. He's a risk. Yeah. He could be great, but he's a risk, and he's an expensive risk. So.
Yeah, well, it's not really.
In this day and age, it's not that expensive.
It's not really.
It's amazing, isn't it? 50 million, you go, box standard these days. 5-6 years ago, be going, holy moly, 50 million.
Yeah, so I think Liverpool are going to finish 4th. I've got them in 4th. So, like, I'm optimistic but trust me, I'm worried about how Newcastle are trending. I'm worried about how Villa are trending. I'm worried about Chelsea. And I've got them, all of those just behind us. Like, I think that we need to have a good season to finish above them.
Yeah.
And if I was Jurgen Klopp as well, like, I think the owners need to seriously look at this and think to themselves, realistically, we've got to sell this project to Jurgen Klopp we've got this year to sell the project, because if we don't, you've got the Euros coming up, of which the Germany job might come up, might be active, and Jurgen Klopp could move back to Germany and do the Germany job and absolutely love it. And I'm so ultimately, I think it's a real make or break season for Liverpool. And if we don't do it right, I think we could end up in a situation that Spurs are in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. I'll just quickly get my 4th out of the way before to United. You've kind of covered it. You work at United, so You've kind of covered it. You kind of covered pretty much what I was going to say. The only reason I've gone fourth is just, have they bought well? I don't know. You said they bought well. I'm not sure. I'm not a massive Mount fan, so I want to wait and see on Mount. It gives me the ick a little bit. I'm just not a massive Mount fan, but we'll see. I might be wrong. Yes, striker's obviously a huge concern. Yes, Højlund, but even Højlund, I mean, is that a punt? He's had a good half a season at Atalanta and he's worth 70 million quid. I mean, Jesus Christ. You know, it's not like he's like a FM wonder kid and you're like, oh, you know, makes sense, like a Haaland or whatever. I've never heard of the kid. Like, just spending that much money on one good season is a risk, a big, big risk. They're putting a lot of weight on his shoulders at that age to go, there you go. United's new £70 million striker. Good luck, kid. So I might be wrong, but wait to see. But again, it's a lot of money for someone that most of us have never heard of. Have United bought well? I don't know. So I think they'll have a similar season that they did last year. Just really quick, that striker spot worries me. If, like you said, obviously back is injured, who plays up there? Do they keep faith in Martial?
Martial's a crock, so they
do they keep faith in Martial, or do they throw Rashford up there and play Sancho or Anthony?
They have literally not been able to sell Martial for free. No one will take him for free. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that kind of proves the point, doesn't it, really? But
yeah, there's still just Martial, and Sancho's got questions to answer. Anthony's got questions to answer. I don't know. I think they'll come top four, but do I see a massively different side to last year? Not really.
So fifth,
go for it, mate.
Chelsea. Yeah, I think that they've got a serious manager. I think that he
does look like that. Yeah.
He's the real deal, and I'm super kind of. I'm a big Poch fan, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think that's. I think that he'll get that team going, definitely. There'll be some unhappy people in the boardroom looking at a lot of money sat on the bench, sat in squads that can't get a game. But I think he's going to get the best out of people like Mudryk. I think he's going to get the best out of people like it's people like Sterling that we may. Sterling is a coin flip. Sterling could score 20 goals this season, or he could score 2 because he won't get a game. So
he's either always been a fraud, or he's going to start improving and get back to when he was pretty good at City. I know some always question his finishing, but he had a pretty good couple of seasons at City. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a massive Raheem Sterling fan, but you know, and obviously, you know, as a person who, you know, is a Liverpool fan, that's hard. Easy to say and hard because obviously he was an absolute snake, but like he left for the right reasons. He went on and won loads of trophies at City, so it was just I was pleased with 50 million. Like he was a big cost at that point. So I think that they've done well to get rid of the players that they've got, and I think if they can get rid of people like Lukaku coming into the end of the season, then they'll do well. A couple of injuries.
And they're not done. They're not done yet, though. As well, like Caicedo. Yeah. I still think Caicedo will go there. I think they'll stump up the cash. I still think he'll go. And I think they'll sign another striker, especially with this Nkunku. Look at it, 4 months. They're saying 16 weeks. So look at 4 months. So I think they'll sign another striker. Vlahovic is the one that's being talked about in a swap deal for Lukaku. So if they bring in another decent striker and they bring in a Caicedo, there's a hell of a lot of good options there now. Mm-hmm. There's some big talent in there. Enzo, Caicedo. There's some big talent in there.
I mean, we Jackson could look ultimately we could look really stupid with this because Chelsea could either finish second or they could finish 12th. Like it's that much of a coin flip. Yeah. But I trust that Poch will deliver, you know, a solid dressing room. But it would be so Chelsea, wouldn't it, to go on and win the league? Like, how Chelsea would it be to go and win the league now? Like, it would be so Chelsea, wouldn't it? But
do you know, a couple of things I want to say as well. One is I think they've got the best pair of fullbacks in the league. As a pair. Not as a one. Trent's, of course, in the conversation, but as a pair, I think they've got the best pair.
Mm-hmm.
They're both class. It's so easy for me to sit here and say this. I know it's not easy. If I were Chelsea, I would spend a lot on a good goalkeeper. I think Kepa is so average. I think Robert Sanchez is so average. And I, off the top of my head, would say if they bought let's just say Manuel Neuer, let's just say for argument's sake, I said that's 10 points. I really honestly think it's that much.
Do you know who doesn't currently have a club?
De Gea. Take a punt on a free. He's better than those two.
He is better than those two.
He's better than Kepa and he's better than Sanchez. So yeah, pay his wages. He's a free transfer. Yeah, no, I just think that's a really, you look at City with Edison, you look at Liverpool with Alisson, United have made an improvement there. Pope's better than those two.
Mm.
So it's a weak area. Ramsdale and Raya now at Arsenal. It's a weak area for Chelsea.
I cannot believe that Chelsea have spent £25 million on Robert Sanchez and David Raya is going for 40.
Yeah. Sanchez is a bad egg, mate. He's a bad egg. I've heard it from multiple different sources at the club. That you can't. Who do you think you are? You've grown up with Brighton, come through the academy. We've literally binned Matty Ryan off to give you the chance. He then decides to change keeper, and he refuses to play for the club. Who do you think you are, mate? You're Robert Sanchez. And look, by the way, he's a good shot stopper. He's a decent shot stopper, but he's not good in the air. He's not great with his feet, and he's got a massive clanger in him. He's got a clanger every 4 games.
So just thinking about this De Gea thing, because actually I think that this is not being, I've not heard this spoke about actually. If you look at that Robert Sanchez package, so if he's on exactly. 80 grand a week, right?
Yeah, 80 to 100 he'll probably be on, I'd guess.
Yeah, I would guess something like that. So you're better at maths than me. So that times by 52.
Let's say 100 grand a week.
Yeah. Oh, I think I can do that one. So yeah, 5.2 million.
Yeah.
So 5.2 million. Then times that by 5. He's on a 5-year contract.
26 million.
26 million, so 50 million, okay?
Yeah.
Say they offered 250,000 a week to De Gea.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do those maths. So 250,000 by 52.
10 weeks is 2.5 million. So per year, that's about 13 million per year. So for 5 years, it's 65. So it's another 10 or 15 million, to get De Gea.
Pretty much the same money to get De Gea.
Yeah. And he's a starter instead of a bencher because Sanchez is backup. He's too error prone. He's just too error prone to be first choice keeper. He was too error prone to be first choice keeper at Brighton. So he ain't going to be first choice keeper at Chelsea.
How have we just worked that out that David De Gea is a better financial situation?
Yeah, I agree. Unless they want, I think Sanchez would go down as homegrown. Unless they need a homegrown, I don't know. Unless they want a younger player, I don't know. Unless they have huge faith in Kepa and they say we want Kepa, we just want a backup. I don't know, but yeah.
But David De Gea came over so early that he could even be classed as homegrown.
Yeah. So, I think he is. I think he is homegrown. Yeah. I remember signing him on FM thinking, yes, a big bonus. He's homegrown.
Yeah. So
right, let's move on.
Yeah.
6th. I'd be surprised if we don't have the same here.
Newcastle.
And it's no disrespect to them. It doesn't mean to be disrespectful. I just don't think. I think they overachieved last year. I think coming 4th last year was amazing. Was an amazing achievement, and it's probably one that doesn't get enough credit. I think
Chelsea were really poor. Liverpool were really poor. That was more of the reason why they finished 4th than they massively overachieved.
I agree, and they're very good. They are very good, but I don't know.
I looked at their 1 to 11, and it is outstanding.
It is good.
I firmly believe that their 1 to 11 their best team is probably better than Liverpool's.
Maybe it's close. Maybe.
Their midfield is mustard.
Yeah, Tonali, Fernandes. Yeah, Joelinton.
Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and
Joelinton usually.
And usually would be Joelinton, but
he
like
puts a shift in Joelinton. He's pretty decent at what he does. And you got options wide. I don't love Gordon, but Barnes is a good player. Almiron's a good player, mate. Like, he's even looked good in pre-season. He's a good player. He cuts in and scores all the time.
He gets nowhere near that team.
You wouldn't start him. I think he starts, mate. I think he starts.
I think he is fifth choice for me.
I think he's going to start.
Isak.
You'd play Isak wide, probably, wouldn't
you? Isak, yeah, left.
Barnes.
Gordon, Barnes.
You would start Gordon. Look, Almiron's better than Gordon, mate. He is. Almiron's better than Gordon. I would take that to my grave.
Okay, you're wrong.
Almiron is better than Gordon.
Yeah, you're wrong. But
he's just. I think Almiron's just a bit underappreciated. Like, he scored some class goals last year. Really good goals.
Yeah. And then defensively, I think
he just irritated you on the FPL. That's all.
Yeah.
He irritated the life out of you on FPL. That's why you got the ick.
I just can't have.
Good player.
No. You think he's a good player.
He is a good player.
No. You are on board with him being a good player more because of FM, more because of fantasy.
FPL. I just like him.
No.
He's got a wand of a left foot, mate. A wand.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're so polluted in your thought.
I like him. I like Almiron.
Jesus, right.
But anyway, they got depth. Yeah. They're a good team. Yeah.
I think they've...
And look. Would I be shocked? Would I be stunned horrid if they came fourth? No. I wouldn't be stunned horrid. No. But I just don't think they'll quite have enough. What's that? Seventh. Spursy.
I've gone Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that they have just turn the lights on, it was getting dark. Villa have, and we're only on the 7th team, so I thought that's important that we should have the light on for the 7th team, seeing as we've got 20.
The last European spot.
Seeing as we've got 20 to go. So Villa, I think that have bought really well, like seriously well. Probably the best out of any team. I think Villa have bought the best.
They've had a good window.
Yeah, they've had a brilliant window.
Torres looks like he's top drawer. Diaby's top drawer. Tielemans is good on a free.
And do you know the other player as well? That centre back that didn't play at all last year.
Diego Carlos.
Yeah, he was a player.
Yeah, he's a player.
So by the way, Tyrone Mings gets nowhere near this team.
Probably not.
That's kind of the reason why I think that they're in 7th. I think they've got a right manager.
So do I. Underrated. Still underrated now. Yeah. Top drawer.
So,
that's fair. I think it's fair. I do think it's fair. I don't think Spurs are great, but I do think they're easy to hate, aren't they? It's easy to go Spurs this, Spurs that. They're going to come 10th. They've got the one world-class, once-in-a-lifetime striker if they keep it.
The one thing I looked at was the odds for Kane to go, and he's still 1 to 2 to go.
It's close now. I check. I'm a bit of a virgin when it comes to this stuff. I check it most days, and he's slightly more favoured to stay at Spurs now than he is to Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So it's swung the other way, but
just
it's not over.
Seriously, check now.
Do you think it's maybe swung back?
Yes.
Because of the bid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, the best price on Bayern was 2 to 1, and I check every day, back probably 2 or 3 hours ago. Yeah, same. Bayern Munich 2 to 1 against. So the best price on Bayern Munich is 2 to 1 against. So 10 gets you 30. The best price on him to stay at Spurs, 8 to 11 odds on. So 11 quid gets you 19. So yeah, it's odds on to stay at Spurs now. It's not done and dusted. Like 2 to 1 shots happen quite a lot. But 2 to 1 basically, for those that don't know anything about odds, 2 to 1 is 33%. So there's 33% chance that he's going to go to Bayern. There's about a 60% chance he's going to stay at Spurs, and there's about 7% chance he ends up at PSG or Saudi or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, with him, look, I mean, the rest of their team last year was absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. So, and he got them to, look, I know they came 8th, didn't they? They only missed out on Europa League by 2 points, by the way. But they came 8th with no one else. It was literally just Kane. So if Kane has the same season, are you telling me that every other player is going to be as bad as they were last year? I doubt it. They've got more depth now as well. I know you're not a Maddison lover, but he improves them, I think. They've got more depth.
This is all of this around Kane staying.
Yeah,
and
I understand
even
that.
even if he stays, I still think that they're average.
I'd be happy to have a little really friendly fiver that Spurs finish above Villa.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
just a really friendly fiver.
And do you know what's really funny? It's not funny. Obviously, Spurs are 8th for me, so you've got them 7th. Please tell me you've got Villa in 8th. Oh, fucking Brighton! I'll have a tenner on Villa finishing above Brighton. I'll have a tenner on that. An absolute, and it's, do you know what? It's not even a friendly one.
Okay, I'll have an unfriendly tenner on with you. That's fine.
Yeah.
Bet placed. Yeah. We got a fiver on Spurs Villa, and we got a tenner on Villa Brighton. I think Villa Brighton is personally, I think, very closely matched. But maybe I'm biased. I don't know. I don't think 8th is disgustingly biased. It's partly that the pod I was on a few days ago and I talked about Brighton. He said, where Brighton going to come? And I said 8th. I can't now put them 9th. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I can't be like, yeah, Brighton can go 8th. Oh, actually, but in my table they're 9th. So I think we'll come 8th or 9th. Villa are 9th for me. It is a bit low. I will 100% admit that. I look at Villa and go, you should maybe be a couple of spots higher than this. But again, I think I'd have Spurs. Brighton and Villa is a coin flip for me. I might be wrong. Look, I might look like an idiot in the season. I think if you had a joint 11, it would be 50-50.
Okay. I just yeah. I mean, we can move on. That's where I am. I think we've covered Villa in there, and Brighton. Take the floor, Pat. Take the floor.
Yeah, I'm not going to take forever, Jenny. I'm not. I've talked about this for ages, and I'll post the pod at some time because I had 40 minutes to Brighton chat, so it's out of my system. We overachieved last year massively. I can't see how we can possibly come 6th again. European football is an amazing thing, and I can't wait to go. But most people that have European football, it has an impact on the Premier League. However, I don't think it's what some people are predicting as Brighton are now in the mud. Brighton are going to be in a relegation battle. No. So we still have, when I said this in the pod, we still have a lot of talented players. And I ain't me being biased. It's just true. We've got some serious talent in there. We've got one of the, I won't rave about Dunkey. I've already done that in the other pod, but we've got a seriously good centre back. Purvis is borderline world class. We've got a hell of a lot of talent, young talent in that team. Pedro looks really good. Look what Encisa did last year. Matoma's top draw. Ferguson. I mean, if we keep Caicedo, he's mustard. So there's some serious talent in there, and that doesn't just disappear. We've also got a serious manager, serious manager. Top. He's got to be top 5, 6 in the league. Deserve. He has to be. So that's good. And yeah, like I say, I don't think we'll quite finish above what we did last year. Last year was incredible, but I don't think we're going to fall off the cliff either. So that's why I think I've said 8th/9th is I think where we'll come. That's it.
Okay. I think there's still some holes, and I think that this system of buying really young, and there's just some news that have just come through now that is going to really, it's going to justify. It's literally just come through now.
Caicedo gone. Chelsea agreed.
No. Wolves manager gone. Yeah. So which we knew about, and that's the reason why I've put them in the position I put them. But anyway, I have. I just think that there's, say Caicedo goes.
Yep.
Everyone knows you've got 100 million.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's true.
I cannot see how you can replace McAllister, Caicedo, Basuma, and within an 18-month period with better.
I completely agree.
And I think that the reason why you were so good last year was because of the fact you had Caicedo, you had McAllister, and they will. It just takes a lot to replace them.
And for most of the season, for a lot of the season, we had Trossard as well, and he's class.
Yeah.
So that was a loss. We got away with that loss, but he was still a key player for us that went. So, yeah.
I've got Brighton in 9th. I think they are a really, really, really good team. I love, I'm not. Everyone will know that my, not everyone will know. Some people know my girlfriend. All of her family are from Brighton. She's from Brighton. Mum's season ticket holder. So I have been to loads of Brighton games with Johnny, without, and stuff. And they are a massive, probably my second team. Really, I fucking hate actually saying second team, but I fucking do actually. Can we edit? Can we fucking edit?
We're not editing that. I'm going to hold you to that now.
That is fucking shit.
In another pod where you start slating Brighton, I'll be like, that's your second team.
No, I'll never slate them. However, but it just makes me feel sick. No one can have it. Anyone who listens to this pod who thinks they have a second team, just stop listening. Because I definitely don't. I have an affiliation.
You know my history with second teams, so
yeah.
Cut that rope.
Yeah.
See ya. I just because I agree with you. I don't like second teams. Invest all your attention into one. Don't have to.
No, and ultimately I do. So, but it's but yeah, I have an affiliation to them. I think the setup, the overall setup is brilliant, but it's got to end. You cannot walk this tightrope forever. And I do think that this might be it's starting to wane. And if you continue to do this, by the way, you will have bluffed your way through with a 7 deuce, and Tony Bloom is going to be sat there where the whole rest of the league has got ace high, and ultimately you've got 7 deuce, and you can't carry on bluffing for this long.
I completely agree. I completely and utterly agree with what you're saying. But I don't think the drop-off will be enough in the next 5 seasons. Put it this way, right? We don't have any Luton or Sheffield United player in our squad.
No.
That's all I'm saying. So when people talk about relegation, I know they're not talking about it next year. I understand the process. I get how it works. Like at Southampton, I know it takes time and you drop and drop and drop. But at the bottom end of this Premier League, and we'll come into it, it's weak. And look, this is my opinion, if we have a bad season, we will come 12th.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, definitely. But the other thing as well that I definitely want to pick up with is, where is all this money going?
Yeah. No, I know. It's not. I don't think it's Bloom going. Ultimately, football clubs make a loss. Ultimately, now we have done well because we've we've made so much money on players. We've signed Caicedo for 5 million. He's maybe going to go for 100. Cucurella 15 to 60 in one season. So we're making a lot of profit.
You've got to be in the.
We're the only team in the last 5 years in the Premier League that's made a net profit
on transfers.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to make so much money. I just think that there probably could have been more put into maybe the infrastructure. Like ultimately, the stadium's really good and the training ground's really good. But like, is there something else that you could be doing,
I
like
understand
with
what you're
all this
saying. Yeah.
money?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at Kudus, and the rumours were became David Ornstein came out the other day and said it was done. Like, in terms of the agreement with Ajax, it's just personal terms with the player. He looks like, I haven't seen a lot of him, but by all accounts, he looks like a very good player. He looks like a kind of Caicedo replacement. Is he going to be as good? Probably not, but he looks like a replacement. We usually do pretty well in the transfer market with players that ultimately, Brighton's a great place to go and turn yourself into a proper footballer. Put it that way. Ben White is not a bad example. Improved at Brighton, and now look what he's doing. So McAllister went there, applied his
Yeah,
trade, got his move to Liverpool.
if I was a player, I'd love to go there
It's a
because
great
I
place
know
to
that
go. It's a great stepping stone. It's a great stepping stone.
I know that you'd let me go. So, but I just think that there's, yeah. Could you be piling loads more money into?
Yeah, I
Well,
agree. It's just not. It's not the club's mantra, and I know that you can't really sustain European football without spending money. But I've always said this to you: is we still have our rules. We still have our £30 million highest transfer fee and our 100 grand. We've never paid a player more than 100 grand a week. So, can you maintain European football with those restrictions in place? Unlikely. But
I mean,
We're Brighton Hove
I
Albion,
mean,
so we're not a
do
big
you know
club.
what's really interesting? Do you know what's really interesting? 16 team, England under 16 squad just got released today, and there's two Brighton players in there.
Yeah,
There's no Man United players.
yeah, that's interesting.
So,
No United, well,
yeah. So
yeah,
it's like, and England, yeah,
yeah. Well, we have a few
there
that
is
come through
all
the academy. We have a few that come through. Evan Ferguson's a good example.
there is also no Man City as well. So like,
Yeah,
I just want to, there is a massive Southern bias, 100%.
yeah.
I'll, you know, there is how many Northern teams? Would you class Villa as a Northern team? I wouldn't.
Midlands, no. Yeah,
There
no.
is
Fair enough.
one,
Yeah, I think, like I said,
two.
yeah,
There's two Northern teams. There's one lad from Liverpool and one lad from Leeds. Like so, and everyone else is Southern. So,
yeah.
but anyway, move on.
I just really quickly, what I want to mention about the next few sides is so it's going to be from 10th to 18th. These could be in any order, in my opinion. Any order. I think personally, West Ham fans might disagree with me here. I think the gap between 9th and 10th is quite big. I think Villa are better than West Ham. Quite nicely.
Oh my God! Like
quite nicely.
Even though West Ham had an unbelievable season last year, I think their recruitment. Have you put West Ham next, by the way, in 10th?
Yeah.
Okay, they're my 13th.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean about. For me, it's 10th to 18th because I was unsure about 18th. We've got the same 19th to 20th. I'm confident, but from 18th to 10th. Well, yeah, you probably got Bournemouth bottom because you hate Bournemouth, but you know what I'm saying. From 18th to 10th, it's wide open.
Yeah, so in 10th, I've got Palace, and I think we can I'm going to say what you're going to say for Palace. They've got a really solid manager. I'll be super, super, super surprised if they go down, and they've got one of the most talented players in the wide position in any team in Eze. And mark my words, Man City's right wing is looking tailor-made for Eze.
Yeah, well, they want Elise. Elise is the one they want. Apparently, he's got a release clause, isn't he? But,
just pay the money for Eze because he is an absolute superstar. If Liverpool needed a Mo Salah replacement, I don't know why they're looking anywhere else apart from Eze.
Yeah, no, I like him as well.
So
I think I'll try and take my Brighton cap off. I think Palace are too good to go down and not good enough for European football. If they don't come somewhere between 9th and 17th, I'd be stunned. If they come seventh, I'd be stunned. If they got relegated, I'd be stunned. They just are what they are. They're going to stay in the league, but they're not going to let them say they're not going to. I'd be very, very surprised if they push for Europe because of the amount of quality that's up there. Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, Villa, semi-us. So, I just think, I think probably what's best with these, we don't need to spend all day on them. We're just going to quickly list from now until, I want to list from now until 17, and then we can talk a little bit more about relegation, because this area of the table is just a bit dull. So I've got West Ham, Brentford, Palace, Fulham, Burnley, Everton, Forest, Wolves. Wolves is very close to the relegation zone, in my opinion, especially now.
So mine is Palace, Brentford, Forest, West Ham, Everton, Burnley, Luton.
Oh, Luton! My head's gone. They haven't even got a pitch to play on. Oh, mate, I would love your shout to be true. It'd be so funny.
Do you know what? I think that there's something about the story that every single home game going to be like a cup final to them. And honestly, pull your face all you want.
They're so bad.
I'm going to give you more of an argument. I'm going to give you more of an argument why Bournemouth, Wolves, and Sheffield United are going to go down. The one for me is Bournemouth. Honestly, I think Wolves and Sheffield United are gone.
Wow. Do you think Wolves are like gone? Like, see ya.
Gone.
Wow.
I don't even know why Sheffield United are turning up. They are literally all
so bad. Did you listen to TalkSport at all today? There's a Sheffield United fan that came on. He was like, "We're not going to get as many points as Derby got."
So they got right. First of all, there's a couple of teams I want to pick out. West Ham, Forest. You've kept hold of the manager. He will keep you up. Full stop. I think Elanga is a brilliant footballer, and Elanga will get you those impactful points. However, tread carefully. That's what I also want to say. Tread carefully, because there is a good chance you could go down as well. West Ham have recruited awfully, and
it has to be a big miss, Declan Rice. He's more than just a footballer for them. Captain, presence. So it's a big loss.
Yeah, and I just think that there's just. I mean, if Danny Ings doesn't score goals, I don't know what's going to happen there, because Everton, the striker wears Nichols and Braz.
Exactly. I think they stay up, but I don't think they come top off.
Sean Dyche is the reason.
For me, they're like Palace.
Yeah, they're a hell of a lot worse than Palace. A hell of a lot worse. Yeah. Do Everton have an Eze? Do Everton have an Elise? No. They have Damari Gray, and they have.
I know. Palace are probably a little bit better. Yeah.
Miles better. Better. Yes. Burnley, I like what they're doing down there. And then Fulham is so touch and go. I would be very worried if I was a Fulham fan.
I don't think they're going, though. I don't think they're going.
Well, no, I don't have them going, but they're damn close, in my opinion. So Luton is my outstander. And what I've just said is I just have some kind of... do you remember when Brentford came up and everyone was like, Brentford are going to go down. Luton, for 2 years, have been pushing on the door of promotion. This wasn't a freak for them coming up. So, they have got a solid, good team. Their manager is decent, from what I'm hearing. They did well in the league. They finished third. It wasn't like a sixth got in the, who got in the playoffs and then they ended up going up. They did finish third. So I am right when I say that, by the way, aren't I? I'm sure I'm right. Luton did finish third?
I don't know.
Please check that for me.
Okay.
Because I don't want to sound like an absolute moron. I just had
Too late for that, mate. Too late for that.
Yeah.
They were third. Yeah. They were third. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I just have something about it. Kenilworth Road is good. I just think that
Not
they're
ready. It's not ready. It's not
well,
ready.
I know it's not. I know it's not ready. But like, all it does is give them an advantage.
That's mate. I'd love you to be right. I think it'd be hilarious. I just don't think I've got the bottom, mate.
You've got the bottom.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I don't have any hatred towards Bournemouth like you. I hated the sacking, but I don't hate the club. But I've got them going. So I've got Bournemouth 18th, Sheffield United 19th, Luton 20th. I've got Wolves just staying, Forest just staying, Everton just staying. And Burnley I think will be okay. I've got Burnley in 14th, so I think Burnley will be fine. Fulham will be fine. So yeah, Bournemouth is my 18th again. Personally, my opinion is I think Sheffield United and Luton are going. I think it's one other, and that literally goes from unlikely, but it goes from West Ham downwards. I think any of West Ham, Brentford, Palace, Fulham, Burnley, Everton, Forest, Wolves could go. I think Villa, Brighton upwards can't go.
There seems to be like a big divide in the league.
Yeah, no, there is. You're right. Yeah, I think it's very interesting, which I don't really think I've seen that much before. I understand there's some lower teams and better teams, obviously, but I think you're right. I think the divide is massive, and I think the divide now between the top half is. I think it's really difficult for a Palace or a Fulham or an Everton to get in the top half.
Well, you need to do stuff like build a massive new stadium like Everton have done. And if once they can build in and get the revenue going from that, but like, how do Brentford break into that mould? Like, I don't think that they can really. So
no, I've got them 11th. I think they've got enough. They won't go.
No,
but
like they're performing at the top of the top of the top of their capabilities.
Yeah, I agree.
And
yeah, well managed.
So,
well
yeah.
managed.
So yeah, I firmly believe that. If people don't know, Wolves are in the mud. They are up shit creek with no paddle. They've sold.
They're not spending any money. That's why he's gone.
They've sold. Oh my god, they sold
Neves,
Jimenez,
yeah,
and Moutinho, which was the spine of their team.
Collins.
I think Collins. Jose Sarr last year.
Jose Sarr looks like he's going. Doesn't want to be there.
Well, I mean, so ultimately, I just think that supposedly it's FFP stuff, is it?
Right. Don't know.
So, but obviously the way that it's run, I'm sure that they will get some loan deals in because of the whole, Mendes kind of stuff, that they'll get some loan deals in and who's the next Portuguese manager who's going to come in? Like,
that's the problem. They just went so down the Portuguese line that that's all they signed, and it was just too much. Like, you can't just sign players in Portugal. So yeah, I agree. I think they're struggling. Even last year, without banging the drum about Brighton, I went to Molineux last year. We were miles better than them, and the home game was 6-0. Like, the gap even between a Brighton, a small club, and Wolves is massive. Massive. The spend's not that different. But the gap was huge. Yeah. So they've really, really cocked up there.
I would agree. So
they have to be down there. They have to be.
I honestly
they have to be close.
I think that there's going to be a big gap between Wolves and Sheffield United, personally.
Yeah.
And then as you say, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Luton. For me, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Luton are the three that are really close.
Yeah. So who have you got going down? Sheffield United, Wolves, and
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one, my hatred. The signings they've made aren't too bad, but like ultimately, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I got Bournemouth going.
when you have a manager who saved you from certain relegation,
He's
it
linked
was,
with Wolves, by the way. He's linked with Wolves, Gary O'Neill.
well, seriously, if Gary O'Neill goes to
Yeah.
Wolves, I'm putting Wolves in 12th.
Yeah. You love him.
Why not? Why would
No,
you
he's done
not?
a great job. I know.
Why would you not love him?
I know he's done a great job. Yeah.
So yeah,
It's called Gary O'Neill, which doesn't help. It's not called Marcus Silva. Good. Perfect.
makes my pee boil, bro. Pee boil.
Yeah. I know you hate Bournemouth now, yeah. Which is fair enough. Good. All right. Interesting. It's not long now, mate.
It's really not long.
This time in 3 days, Man City will have just beaten Burnley. Tell me I'm wrong, baby. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not. I just.
Oh, it won't be a smashing. 2-1.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
2-0.
Was it 2 years ago? The first game, Friday Night Football, was Brentford versus Arsenal.
I backed Brentford and they won. It was about 5-1, I think.
Yeah, and they won 2-0. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Don't rule out Burnley.
It's Man City. It's not Arsenal.
Don't rule them out.
I haven't ruled them out. Just 4-1 on. It's about right, isn't it?
Oh, look.
Comfortable 2-0. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Haaland and it's got Alvarez. 2-0. Anyway, I digress. I'm going off subject. So, yeah, it's not long now. Three more sleeps, and we'll be there. Looking forward to it. And yeah, we're going to Brighton West Ham, which is the third game week, so our second home fixture. I'm going to quite a few home games this year, so. And I'm going to some European games, baby, on a Thursday night at the Amex. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. If I had said that to you when we were at uni and we were in League One, and I'd said, yeah, give it 10 years or 8 years and we'll be in the Europa League, you'd have said I was a raving lunatic. So,
I mean, I do want to highlight, when does the Europa League list come out?
The draw is the 1st September.
Okay.
So I think it's the 1st or the 2nd. I think Brighton on the 1st of August released it and said there's a month to go. So it's the 1st or the 2nd. Rumours are we're going to be in pot 3. So we're going to have some fairly heavy hitters in our group. I mean, the big heavy hitters come in off the Champions League, don't they? But obviously you're in pot 1, but obviously we can't draw you. So we're looking at we'll have a Villarreal or someone like that in our group, a Benfica, that kind of club, so etc. They're in the Champions League, you know what I mean. So we'll have a challenge, but I think we'll get through the group, and we'll probably get done in the round of 16, something like that, by a Champions League side that finishes third in their group and is too good for us. I reckon.
I'm going to predict something as well. Aston Villa are going to win the Conference League.
If West Ham can, then Villa can.
And their manager quite likes Europe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can say that again. You can say that again. No, it wouldn't surprise me. And the thing is, it's worth winning. 1, it's a trophy. Look at West Ham. Look at how it changed their season. 2, they qualify for Europa League. Villa aren't guaranteed to qualify for Europa League next year by any means. So, if you said to Villa fans they come 15th and they win the Conference League, they would snap your hand off.
Yeah. Because West Ham did.
Absolutely. And we said we made a case they had a better season than Arsenal. So.
Yeah, I just think that you've just got to do something with it, and at the moment West Ham are not doing anything with it.
Yeah. But there's the problem that you said, the same as we're going to have with Caicedo if it goes for 100 million. People know they have to cash. So hence why Man United are going, we know you've got 100 million. We want more for McTominay and Maguire. So would you rather have one Rice or McTominay and Maguire, probably one Rice. Like, I know it's hard, but you've got to sell him. I do get that, but they will be a worse side without him, for sure. McTominay and Maguire aren't gonna. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason United don't need them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good.
Perfect, pal.
Good stuff.
Well,
I'll get those lists out onto the Insta page so you can see our Premier League tables. You send me your 1 to 20. I'm probably going to listen back, but if you can send me the list as well, then that'd be good. So I can post that out.
And we will definitely recap this in our post-season review. And that's
probably laugh at it.
And that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. When Luton get 8 points and they get relegated by Christmas, I'm going to be laughing at you.
Look, I just really...
And when they stay up, you're going to absolutely rip me, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I don't think any of us have gone super rogue.
No.
I think it's fairly template. However, it usually ends up being template. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Good. Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot. We'll get
Thanks
that
a lot
out
for listening.
Yeah, thanks guys. And next time we'll just sports chat. We've got a bit to catch up on, but we really wanted to get this table in obviously before the start of the season. So next time will definitely be some sports chat. And at some point, if we ever have a boring week, we'll probably throw in the odd 1 to 11. We haven't done any 1 to 11s yet, so that'll be some good fun, overrated, underrated 11s and all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of content coming up. So yeah, like and subscribe as always. Would be very grateful. And we will see you soon. Thanks very much.
Bye.